This week, media attention was once again focused on Donald Trump's tweets. This time, the barrage of nasty ones between himself and Morning Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski. Unfortunately for President Trump, what he was ultimately able to accomplish with all of that was to make victims out of Mika and Joe, no easy trick in and of itself. Two, to drive up their ratings, something I'm sure he didn't want to do, given the fact that he correctly pointed out it was a foundering and failing show. And three, sadly and unfortunately, he distracted from his own legislative agenda and from the successes that he had had during the week. He had a pretty good week otherwise. The Supreme Court gave him a victory on the travel ban. Kate's Law was passed by the House of Representatives. CNN was melting down a little bit under their own bad reporting, something I'm sure that made him happy, given the fact that that's not his favorite network. He had a good week on energy policy, setting forth the need for American energy independence and the policies that he's promoting to make America stronger economically through good energy development. And he also had the opportunity to showcase the upcoming G20 with a preview of coming attractions of himself on stage with world leaders, something he has always excelled at. Could have been both a look back to some of the past things that he's done alongside of world leaders, including his most recent trip, which was by all accounts very successful, and a look at what's yet to come. But that didn't happen. It has to be very frustrating for the White House staff to see their good headlines getting stamped on by reporting on distractions. Don't know that it's going to slow down or stop, but that's something we'll want to keep watching. On to bigger, better, happier, and more important things, because this weekend and in the days to follow, we celebrate American independence and the birthday of the United States of America. Not many of us celebrated on July 2nd, as President John Adams thought we would. He thought so because that was the date on which the Continental Congress actually voted to sever our ties with Great Britain. They didn't get the actual language of the Declaration worked out until the 4th of July. That's when the rest of us celebrate. And as Adams said, we do it with all sorts of festivals and parades and picnics and barbecues and pyrotechnic displays, as he once mentioned in a letter to his wife. But there's more to it than that, of course, because the Declaration of Independence encapsulates the first principles of the founding of this republic, where for the first time in the history of the world, it was set forth in writing that the rights of citizens come from God, not from government. That truly was revolutionary, and it's what's made the United States what it is today, the cradle of liberty, and the eyes of the world have looked on us in that way. So that when Chinese students marched on Tiananmen Square 25 years ago, they were led by the Statue of Liberty, because liberty led. Had the founders not done the Declaration in the way they did, setting forth that this was more than just a small uprising of nationalistic flavor, but rather was a universal declaration of human rights, they took it from being a very parochial thing, a severing of ties with Great Britain under the Constitution of Great Britain that the American colonists had lived under for many years, to something much bigger and something much broader and something much more important. And ultimately, they laid it all on the line for liberty. The closing sentence of the Declaration of Independence says that they pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor to the cause. They knew that the gallows awaited them if they didn't win the war, so they were willing to put it all on the line for freedom. And so, as we celebrate this July 4th, American independence, let's ask ourselves, do we care as much today about the principle of liberties as they did back then? Think about it, because that's the best 60 seconds of your week.